Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I got a brand new video for y'all, and I think you guys will like this one. It's my third prediction of what will happen in the election in 2024. I'm going to be going over the full map, and this time I have probably some shocking results that I know many people won't like on one particular side, but doesn't matter nonetheless. We'll get into the polls. First I'll show the polls, then I'll show the actual predictions, but right away we can go with the obvious states that are going to go to each respective party. California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada I'll keep to the side for now. Hawaii, New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, all these ones. Virginia, and I think that's it for now. Oh, and Maine. And they win one there. Now we'll go for the Republican ones. So Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska. There you go, Nebraska. And by the way, I remember in the last video I made a mistake for some of the congressional districts in Nebraska and Maine. I think it was Nebraska. So I'll be correcting that this time. I know that one of them does end up going blue. I don't know which one exactly it is, but one of them goes blue. So we'll make that correction right off the bat. Because I know a lot of people were commenting last time. They're like, oh yeah, you forgot the one congressional district in Nebraska, but not this time. And then Nebraska popular vote will go red. Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah, Alaska. All these states are all Republican. And then North Carolina, I'll go red. I think it'll go red. It's pretty obvious. And then there's one congressional district in Maine that does go Republican. So I'll make sure that that's correct. I think it may be the other one actually. Yeah. So now we got the swing states. So we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the main 6 that everybody's been looking at. So let's just look at the polls. We'll first look at 538. And we'll start off with Nevada. Nevada's been really close. So this is like even Trump +1, Harris +2. But I think it's pretty clear to say that Trump is a bit more, or he's a bit ahead of Harris. So I think we can give that one to Trump for the 538 one. Nevada, if we look at this one, again, this is like almost 6 points for Trump on this one by Washington Post. And by the way, Washington Post is not a Republican affiliated media network at all. And then this one does not have, what's it called? Nevada, which is kind of weird. But we can come to the conclusion Nevada is leaning Republican, so it is going to go Republican most likely. Then we got Arizona, which is another state that, again, Republicans should be winning that. But they lost it in 2020, which was quite a shocker to a lot of people. And in this one, we see the results are a bit different. So Harris +1, Trump +2, Trump +5, Harris +2, Harris +4, Trump +3. So this is a bit closer. But if we add up all these plus whatever amounts they are for each candidate, we got 2 + 5 + 3. So that's 10. And then we got 7. So I think Trump is a bit ahead of Harris if we average them out. And then if we look at this one, where's Arizona? Arizona's right here. Like, that's pretty solid for Trump. That's about, what, like +3 or so. So that's a pretty big margin for Trump. But if we're looking at the ones where, see, if we look at here, it says more polls is darker. So we could probably conclude that this one is more correct. So probably like +4, +5 in Arizona. So I think again Arizona will go back to Republicans because it's always been typically Republican, and I think that won't change in this election. Then we got Georgia. Oh yeah, we can also look at this one. Yeah, Trump is leading by 5 points. So I think it's pretty clear to say that Trump will win in Arizona. We can look at Georgia, which is another pretty important state in this election. Now this is where it gets really close. Never mind, actually no, it's not that close. So Trump is leading by more than Harris is. There's only one poll that says that Harris is leading, and it's only +1. Two other ones are saying it's even, and then all the other ones are saying Trump is leading in. But then if we look at this one, again, there's not that many polls in Georgia at the moment, but from the polls that we have, they average it out, and it's about +4 or 5 for Trump. And then, but this one is pretty close, +2. So Trump is winning. It makes sense why he's winning. Georgia typically does vote Republican. It was quite a shock when they lost in 2020. But then again, let's go keep in mind that Trump's been attacking Brian Kemp a lot, the governor of Georgia, who is very popular in Georgia. So will that play into their decision to vote for him or not? We don't know. But I think at the moment it stands that Trump is going to win Georgia. So that puts him at 268 to 226 for Democrats, which means that he only needs either one of these states, so Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, which honestly, either one of them could do the job. Then we can go to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Where is Pennsylvania? Oh. So yeah, he only needs like one of the 3 Rust Belt states, which by the way, not all 3 are going to go to Kamala Harris, most likely. So you also got to keep that in mind. Now, Wisconsin has a lot of polls. I'm going to go to Wisconsin before I go to Pennsylvania because it has the least electoral votes out of those 3. But Wisconsin has a lot of polls. So Wisconsin, if we look at them, it's very close. There's a lot of differing views in terms of what's going on in Wisconsin. You got even, Harris, Harris, Trump, even, Trump, 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 even, Harris, Harris. So it seems, at least from these polls, that we can conclude, again, also keep in mind, these are from Fox News, which are all giving Trump the lead. So take it with a grain of salt. But then again, Bloomberg, pretty Democrat leaning. And then we got some other ones, the Telegraph and whatnot, they're pretty even. There's another Fox one that's even, another Telegraph one that's even. So, again, I don't know if it really matters based on just these polls, but let's look at another poll. So this is the New York Times, or sorry, the Washington Post one. And this one's really close. So this one is actually leaning a bit more to Harris. Now, there's something to keep in mind. Like, you see these leads for Trump in this poll, but then this one said it's Harris leading. But if you look at it, it's very light. So that means it's there's very little polls that support Harris's lead in Wisconsin. So there's not much to suggest that she actually is leading Wisconsin. It's probably very close. It's probably going to be within a point, I believe, in the general election. We can look at another poll just to confirm. Again, this is dead tied, 47%, 47%. With that being said, based on the way it's swung since Joe Biden's dropped out, Wisconsin will most likely go Democrat. And the reason I say that is because Joe Biden was struggling in Wisconsin, but ever since he dropped out, Kamala Harris has been campaigning there quite a bit, and she's really gained a lot of momentum. So people have been a lot more enthusiastic about the Democrats in Wisconsin ever since Joe Biden's dropped out. So that's really helped them a lot. Then we got Michigan up next, which again it's another very crucial swing state. Michigan seems to be a swing state in every single election. So let's take a look at Michigan. Oh, this is Michigan. Okay, so if we're just looking at this, it says 44.5% to 42.9%. So Harris is leading. And then this is where it gets kind of funky. Like, these are weird numbers that are coming out. So you got one that says Trump +1. But then you got one by Bloomberg that says Harris 11. Harris 12. You know, they got another one that's Trump +10. So it's really weird. Like, the numbers are really skewed here. Yeah, then again, like, I don't know why these ones have Whitmer in this. She's not even involved. But then again, like, you have Trump plus three, Trump plus three. So these numbers are really off, and they make no sense when you really look at it from that way. But we can look at these ones. If we look at this one, it's leaning Republican. So that's about what? About 3 points. It's leading towards Republicans, which means that, yeah, Trump is obviously. It's more so probably like a Trump plus two, plus three. So this one by Red Eagle Politics, even though it is Republican leaning, is probably more accurate than whatever this is, Harris plus 11. That's not happening. And then if we look at it here, yeah, Trump plus one. I do believe that there is no chance, and I know a lot of people actually pointed this out in my comment section last video. There's no chance, I agree, there's no chance that Republicans sweep all three Rust Belt states. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Or sorry, Democrats are going to sweep all three Rust Belt states. It doesn't happen usually. And especially in this election, since it's very close, and people don't really know who Kamala Harris is that well, it's probably going to be a lot closer. So that puts Republicans in the White House. That's the first time I've made a prediction I made where it's pretty obvious that Republicans are going to win by a lot. And I mean, again, Pennsylvania, I'll take a look at it. My view on Pennsylvania has changed a bit since last time. I said it was going to go Democrat. My view has changed quite a bit, actually. I believe it will go Republican. I'll explain why. So these polls don't really tell you much. Again, these are like very close polls, but they're kind of whatever. They're kind of skewed. We can look at this one right here. This one puts a dead tie. So this is 0. That means it's a tie. And that means there's a lot of polls suggest that it's tied. And then if we look here, Trump is leading plus 2. I believe that Pennsylvania is going to Republicans because they decided not to go with Josh Shapiro, the Democrats. They decided not to go with Josh Shapiro. So they are going to lose Pennsylvania, I believe. I thought that if they went with Josh Shapiro, they could definitely win Pennsylvania. They would lose Michigan because of the Arab population. But they would have a chance in Georgia with, not really necessarily with Josh Shapiro, but I just thought in general they would be able to win Pennsylvania, but they would lose Michigan for sure. But in this case, I think it's going to go Republican for Pennsylvania because of the way everything's been going. And also keep in mind, Trump was almost assassinated in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of pent-up anger in that state, and there's a lot of support for Trump because obviously we know that it happened in Pennsylvania. So I think this will go to Republicans, and that gives Republicans a presidency by a pretty decent amount. That puts them about 32 votes over the 270 that they needed. And yeah, this is my prediction. I think it's different from what I expected because I didn't think Tim Walz would be selected. I thought just Shapiro would be selected. If Shapiro had been selected, I think it would be something like this. So more so like a 283 to 255, still very close. But this kind of puts it not. And I also think that it's just going to be very difficult for Democrats to win states like Pennsylvania and Georgia. Maybe not with Tim Walz. I think Georgia they could maybe win. If they do win Georgia, it won't make much of an impact though. But I think Pennsylvania will be very difficult with Tim Walz, just because they don't really have any familiarity in Pennsylvania. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.